bhikṣurvā bhūpatirvāpi yah niṣkāmaḥ sa śobhate bhāveṣu galitā yasya śobhanā'śobhanā matiḥ.
May he be a beggar or a king, he excels who is unattached and whose view of existing things has been freed from the sense of good and evil. A jiva exists as ego with his BMI identity, perceives the world and its beings through senses, and is conscious of the objects which he perceives. And they carry the impression of sight to his mind through the media of his vasanas. A Jivan Mukta, on the other hand, existing as self, can only see the creation through self, I of I, and can thus know or experience all objects only as self. As his existence is self, and the medium of his seeing the objects is also self, there are no vasanas. How he can be only conscious of the self? For understanding this, we have to first see how a Jivan Mukta exists with an earthly glow of godly perfection, to be able to see the entire creation as same effulgent self. Unearthly glow of godly perfection. Only those who know him and have observed him from very close quarter and have been with him, taking on his teachings sincerely, can experience this glow in him. Maybe they may, we cannot say can. Maybe there is a possibility that they experience this glow in him, which is not physical glow, but an unearthly glow. The glow of his purity, the glow of his perfection, the glow of his union with self and abidance in self. The glow is of a subtle nature, nothing to do with the apparent glow as per definition of glow. It is the internal state of infinite peace self. It is the state which does not have any of the avarna, vikshepa, rajas, tamas, avidya. It is unearthly also because the above nature cannot be found in normal jivas living on earth, attached to earth. That is, attached to objects in the creation. Questions. Now, two questions. What does it mean to say that a sage is only able to see the effulgence glow of self in all objects. Secondly, what does this seeing by the sage mean? Answering to the second question will automatically lead to the answer to the first question. Second question is, what does his seeing mean? In worldly level, seeing is through eyes or senses. For a sage, seeing is through the eye of the eye, the self. How does the eye of the eye see? It does not see. From its side, it does not deliberate to see, or it does not see at all. The world of objects get reflected in this eye of the eye, the self. They get reflected in this self, and no matter what is their nature otherwise, in the presence of a realized seer, getting reflected through and in him, the pure self, for a secondless second, they also shine verily as self only. We have seen that the self-realized sage shines with an unearthly glow of godly perfection. Therefore, all the objects which get reflected, yat kataksha, all the objects which get reflected in and through the seer who shines with an unearthly glow of godly perfection, they also verily shine for a second as self only. So the next question, what does it mean to say that the sage is only able to see the effulgence, glow, etc. of self? By now, this has already been answered. The world of objects pass through the sage's state, glowing with godly perfection, and they are graced with the same glow effulgence, which is the natural state of the sage. Or at that state, when the world of objects pass through me, the sage says, or interact with me, or try to give an experience to me, they fail to give any experience to me who am beyond anyone's reach to cause any disturbance in me, in my state. He ever exists in and as a seer with the glow of perfection, and the state is unchanged by any object coming to him or interacting with him. Or with no I-ness or mine-ness, whosoever comes to him is experienced by him as the same self, which is his real existence. If his state is equated to the purity of the Manasa Sarovar lake, then coming of other jivas to him can be taken as the reflection of others in him who is existing as pure, pristine, changeless, rippleless Manasa Sarovar. Then what happens? At least for a fraction of seconds, they are bound to feel the same purity in them, as they see their clear reflection in the Manasa Sarovar. This way, they also exist as self when they come in touch with him. Imagine what happens when even a supposedly not so good charactered politician or someone bureaucrat comes and sits and have darshana Swami. When Swami passes through him, what does those teardrops falling through his cheeks convey? For that second, the self in him has merged with the universal self Bhagavan. That is what is explained as the essence of this particular verse. In the case of a Jivan Mukta, this happens to him very frequently. If you take an example of someone who interacted with him and willed to give a very bad experience by humiliating him, this happens to him frequently. This he has noted down in the context of something which happened in while he was in India, Bhiwadi. He doesn't know the incident, of course, and the incident is not relevant at all. If in future, if he ever sees that person or any talk about that person comes in front of him, what happens? Since he sees from the self, he sees through the self, he cannot see anything in that jiva, or he cannot think of that jiva as bad or impure in any manner at all. So whether that jiva realizes or not, since the Jivan Mukta exists as self ever, the jiva cannot exist in an area outside that self, because self is anantam. It is in this respect that Ashtavakra says he sees them all as effulgent, pure, glowing. All that he can say, even when he is humiliated, I exist as that which cannot be expressed. All the objects coming to me has no relevance in that state. I cannot say anything more than this. Chinmaya gives a verse from Mahopanishad which says, the very same objects that increase desires and passions in the foolish mind, those very same objects of enjoyments provide the man of wisdom with total dispassion. Then he writes, since the man of realization recognizes nothing but the absolute reality everywhere, in all things, and at all places, he comes to rise above the sense of good and evil. He is no more living in our level of consciousness. He has awakened to be the infinite self himself. Hari Om Tat Sat.